Last Monday, I found my bedroom door camera turned to face the wall, and what was on it changed everything. I never thought a piece of plastic the size of a deck of cards would end up rewriting my whole life. But that is exactly what happened. And by the time it was over, I understood things about the people closest to me that I wish I had never had to learn. My name is Warren Castellano, and for the last 31 years, I have run steel crews on commercial buildings across Nashville, Tennessee. I have poured concrete in July heat that would make a lizard file a complaint, and I have talked more contractors off ledges than I can count. Ask my wife what I'm like, and she'll tell you I'm stubborn. I hum off-key in the shower, and I still think duct tape solves 90% of life's problems. She's not wrong about any of it. Life before all this was simple, in the good way. My wife Sharon and I have been married 26 years. We live in a brick ranch house off Gallatin Pike. Our daughter Melissa had been married 5 years to a man named Tyler Bramfield, a mortgage loan processor at a regional bank branch downtown. Sundays meant dinner at our table, football on low volume, and Sharon's cornbread, which she guards like a state secret. Sharon is 52, sharp as a tack, the kind of woman who can silence a room with one raised eyebrow. She keeps the family calendar in her head better than any app could. My best friend of 23 years, Gary Holloway, runs a small HVAC company 2 exits down. Gary and I fish every other Saturday and argue about nothing important. Melissa was born when Sharon and I had been married 1 year, which puts her at 25 now, and Tyler is 30, 5 years older than her. All of that lines up fine. Nothing strange about any of it. The warning signs started small enough that I almost laughed them off. Around late April, Tyler began coming by the house on weekday afternoons, saying he needed a quiet place to catch up on loan files since his branch was mid-renovation. He'd sit at our kitchen table with his laptop, always polite, always thanking Sharon for the coffee. What I noticed, but didn't think twice about, was that he never once asked to see our original documents directly. He asked general questions, whether we'd ever refinanced, what year we bought the house, whether the deed was still in a fireproof box like Sharon always said it was. He was gathering information without ever asking to hold anything, which I understand now was intentional, because photographing an original signature page in front of us would have looked exactly like what it was. In early June, our Wi-Fi started dropping for a few minutes at a time whenever he visited, which I blamed on our ancient router. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, because he was family, and you do that until you cannot anymore. On a Tuesday morning in late June, I walked into our bedroom to grab my work boots and noticed the camera mounted above the closet door. The one Sharon insisted on installing 2 years ago after car break-ins on our street had been turned to face the wall. Not knocked loose, turned deliberately a full 90 degrees. My stomach did something I did not like. I took the camera down myself the next morning, careful not to touch the lens, and drove it to a shop on Nolensville Pike called Precision AV Repair, where a technician named Doug Reyes had fixed 2 of my job site cameras before. Doug pulled the internal storage card and started scrubbing backward through footage. About 2 minutes in, he sat back, then stood up entirely. "Doug, sir, you need to see this. But I also think you need to call someone right now." The footage was from Monday night, the night before I found the camera turned. At 11:47 p.m., Tyler entering our bedroom, moving straight to Sharon's nightstand where she keeps our fireproof document box. He opened it, removed the original signature page from our 2019 refinance along with our deed, laid them flat on the bed, and photographed them page by page for almost 4 minutes under his phone's flashlight. Then he reached up and turned the camera to the wall before leaving. My hands went still on the counter. I read the timestamp twice, like it might change on me. I sat in Doug's back office a long time, saying nothing at all. I called Gary from the parking lot before I even started my truck. "Warren, Gary, I need you not say anything for a second and just listen." "Gary, Warren, you sound like a man who found a body." "Warren, worse. I think Tyler's been in our house at night, going through our original documents." There was a long pause. "Gary, quietly, the girl he married, or the paperwork?" "Warren, both." I think he's after both. Gary exhaled hard. Gary, okay. First thing, you don't confront him tonight. You confront him with a lawyer standing next to you holding paper, not with your fists. Second thing, I'm coming over Thursday and we're going through every single thing in that fireproof box, item by item, so we know exactly what's missing or copied. That was the first honest, hard thing anyone had said to me in a week, and it steadied me. Thursday, Gary and I inventoried the box together. Nothing physical was missing, but Sharon's original notarized signature from 2019 was gone from the folder, replaced with a photocopy neither of us remembered making. That told me he hadn't just photographed it. He'd taken the original. I called a real estate attorney named Renata Voss, whom Gary had used years ago in a boundary dispute. Renata listened without interrupting once. Renata, this sounds like preparation for a fraudulent home equity application. And if he took the original notarized page, he's planning to either resubmit it as is or use it to forge a fresh notarization through his own bank system. She pulled county title records within 4 days and confirmed Tyler had submitted a $94,000 home equity loan application against our Gallatin Pike property on June 19th, 3 days before we found the camera turned. The notary stamp on the new application belonged to a notary at his own branch who, Renata later confirmed through the State Banking Commission's inquiry, had never actually witnessed our signatures at all. Tyler had used his internal processing access to attach a valid stamp number to a document that was never notarized in person. Renata flagged the loan with the title company and the bank's internal fraud division before it could fund, and filed a report with the Metro Nashville Financial Crimes Unit that same week. She also had the bank confirm in writing that no other accounts, social security numbers, or credit lines tied to us had been accessed, which was the one thing I needed to hear before I could stop bracing for a second blow. There was one lighter moment where she looked up from her legal pad and said, "For what it's worth, my ex-husband once tried something almost this dumb with a boat title. So I have a personal soft spot for catching people like this." Confronting Tyler took 2 more weeks while Renata's paperwork moved. We sat him down on Sunday, July 26th, at our kitchen table, with Melissa there too, because Renata insisted the family needed to hear it together. Tyler walked in loose and joking about traffic on I-40, asking if Sharon had made cornbread. Then I set the loan application on the table, face up. Tyler's face didn't move at first. "Tyler, that's just paperwork I was helping organize." Renata slid the notary's sworn statement across next to it, confirming she'd never met either of us. "Sharon, flatly, that's not how notarization works. And I've signed enough documents in 26 years to know when something's wrong." Tyler said the branch had been shorthanded, that things got sloppy, that it wasn't really his fault. Then he said Melissa knew about it, which made her head snap up so fast her chair scraped the floor. "Melissa, I did not know one single thing about this." And I believed her because her face did something Tyler's never did. It actually broke. I put Doug's printed camera stills on the table last. Tyler stared at the image of himself standing over Sharon's nightstand at 11:47 at night. He didn't have another excuse ready. The room went quiet enough to hear the refrigerator humming. The Financial Crimes Unit arrested Tyler on August 3rd. Because the fraudulent loan exceeded $60,000, Tennessee law classified it as a Class B felony forgery, carrying a possible sentence range of 8 to 30 years. Given it was a first offense, the loan never actually funded, and the notary's statement helped establish exactly how it was executed. The district attorney's office accepted a plea to attempted forgery with judicial diversion, resulting in 3 years of supervised probation, $6,400 in restitution covering our legal fees, and a permanent revocation of his mortgage loan originator license through the State Banking Commission, which also ended his career in lending entirely. He moved to Chattanooga that October. Melissa filed for divorce in September, finalized by December. She spoke to him once more in October when he asked her to help get the charges dropped. She told him no and hasn't heard from him since. Our home equity and title were never actually compromised. The fraudulent application was voided within a week of Renata's filing, and we paid nothing beyond her retainer, which is restitution covered in full. It took a long while to feel steady again. Sharon says it took about 4 months before I stopped checking the camera mount every single night before bed. Gary still calls every Thursday, same as always. And Melissa lives near us now and comes for Sunday dinner again, quieter than before but present. Last Sunday, Sharon stood in the kitchen slicing cornbread. Sharon, Warren, we need a second camera. And I want it facing the door this time, not the wall. Warren, absolutely. I'll get 2. Sharon, good. Because I'm not doing that math homework again, figuring out who turned what, which way. I laughed for the first time in a while, and out on the porch, Gary was already setting up the fishing rods for Saturday morning. Same as always, like nothing in the world had ever gone sideways at all.